Jenson Button wants Michael Masi change that will help Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Former F1 champion Jenson Button believes stewards should have a say in the sport's decisions, not just Michael Masi. The FIA chief is currently in the spotlight with his job on the line following December's chaotic Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton missed out on Formula One title glory to Max Verstappen in controversial circumstances in the Middle East. Hamilton was on the verge of eclipsing Michael Schumacher's record of F1 titles. But a safety car allowed Verstappen to win a first championship of his career instead, with the Red Bull star's fresher tyres helping him reign supreme. Masi has been in the spotlight ever since, with some within the sport calling on the FIA chief to go following his controversial decision-making in the Middle East. And former F1 champion Button has now had his say, claiming that stewards should be allowed to assist on key calls in the future. That would help relieve some of the pressure on Masi or, if the FIA sack him, whoever replaces him in his role. It's really tricky when it's one individual, said Button, who won the title himself when racing for Brawn back in 2009. But there has to be a man at the top and it always lands at his feet. But no, I think it should be a decision between all of the stewards. Obviously the rules are the rules and whether he stuck to them, I heard he can manipulate them a little bit when it comes to the safety car, he's in charge of the safety car. But when we're told one thing and we hear another, especially the public and the fans of the sport, whether you're a supporter of Lewis or Max, it needs to be clear. So we all understand it and we're all on the same page and we can just watch great racing. Watching these two last year, some of the best racing I've seen in motorsport. Not just Formula One, in motorsport. We need to think of last year as an exceptional year with a tough ending and come into 2022, well, have that same fight with a few other drivers added. Button also defended Masi, adding, I think when you hear that on its own, you think it sounds bad and it sounds like they're manipulating the race director. But it's very, very different than that. Every team speaks to Michael Masi and puts their point across, they always do. If you listen earlier in the race, Toto Wolff was also saying, we don't want a safety car here, we want a virtual safety car, and things like that. They're always trying to get their point across, that's the way it has always been in the sport. The former Brawn star feels it's unfair that the likes of Wolff and Christian Horner can put pressure on Masi in the middle of a race. He stated, maybe that needs to be changed, maybe they shouldn't have their opinions voiced to Masi and maybe that's a way forward so Masi can make the decision on his own. I think after the race the teams can go and talk to Masi, but during the race I think it's wrong. There's so much emotion coming from the teams. For Masi it's difficult because there's so much adrenaline and a lot of people watching what he does. I think it's better that the stewards can discuss it between themselves and come up with a decision, and obviously have the rule book in front of them as well. Red Bull's Helmut Marko, meanwhile, has also defended Masi while urging F1 fans not use him as a scapegoat for what unfolded in December. When asked if he was to blame, Marko said, no, of course not. He wanted to find a sporting solution. As is often the case with safety car periods, one driver benefits more than the other. In the American IMSA, 3 laps can be added so the races are suddenly longer. In Formula One, with all the tight fuel calculations, this is not an option. The primary purpose of the investigation is to clarify that Masi was simply overwhelmed in that situation, and that the team bosses cannot continue to interfere with race management over the radio. Everything should be clearer. I think they will try to relieve the race management a little more.